Aliens the Earth War. Or is it just Aliens Earth War? I think it's Aliens Earth War. This is a little anthology. It's 4 issues long. It came out between June to October 1990. Um, so, the golden era. It was published by Dark Horse Comics. The story was by Mark Verheiden, art was by Sam Keith, and the coloring was Monica Livingston. Lettering was Pat Brazeau and Jim Massara. So this follows the release of Aliens, the second movie, I believe. And I'll just start off with a little plot synopsis here. So skip ahead if you don't want spoilers. So Aliens, the Earth War. The aliens still dominate the Earth, but Hicks and Newt are determined to free the planet, no matter the cost. Now they are not alone in their struggle. An old friend and comrade comes out of hiding to aid them in their struggle. But what but will that be enough to win the day? Newt joins Ripley's crew as they set off from the Gateway station. Their mission is to trap the alien Queen Mother and bring her back to Earth. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans are still being terrorized by the alien infestation. And worse, it looks like the planet is somehow starting to change, to reform, but into what? This issue, we're in for lots of female trouble when Ripley and her crew travel to the aliens' home planet in an effort to capture the alien Queen Mother. Her Highness has other plans, however, as she sends her babies to take out Ripley's team, leaving the two species' feistiest females to battle it out one-on-one. Meanwhile, the armored personnel carrier, which has transported the crew to the alien hive, is headed for a nuclear meltdown, leaving our team stranded on the planet with no way to return to their ship. All the stops are out. Ripley and her crew transport the alien Queen Mother to Earth and prepare themselves for the final showdown. Meanwhile, Ripley is rigging bombs for a major meltdown of both the planet and its alien infestation. Newt is stealing away to try and save the life of a lone little girl with the clock ticking down. Newt is lost inside a mountain teeming with an alien horde, and Ripley finds herself exactly where she wants to be, face to face with Her Highness. Now, this was recommended by a viewer on Minds who suggested I give this one a read. And I want to preface this with I'm not the biggest Alien slash Aliens fan in general. Like the movies, I've seen them a couple of times. They're good. Back in the day, they were incredible. But it's never really been my thing. So I just want to preface that. I do, however, really enjoy most of the video games that this franchise has spawned, but I'm not the most diehard person of the movies. I probably haven't seen them in about 15 years. So let's get down to the art. I didn't like this, and it's not because it's old. Trust me. I think I'm about the same age as his book. But and I fondly remember reading comics like this, but the art is kind of all over the place. Like the way characters are drawn, sometimes it's ultra low detail, sometimes it's way too much detail, sometimes it's messy, it's neat. It was hard to figure out who all the characters were throughout the book, and it just didn't really have a concise look. I also want to say that it wasn't scary. Like the art is very bright, and it doesn't give me the tone that I would expect from an alien comic book. Um, like the cover art has this really like what you expect, like this creepy aliens on the case, and it's dark and there's texture to it, and it really feels right. However, the artwork in the actual comic books is not quite right. It just seems a bit messy and a bit rushed. I don't know if that was like a specific style they were going for or if it was intentional. I'd have to look more at the artist's work to know that. But in the situation of an Aliens comic, it just didn't work for me. It does have like, there are some moments where it's just got the perfect 80s look with 80s hair and faces and makeup. And at that point, I'm just like, oh, yes. But that's only like 1 or 2 panels out of a 4-issue series, which is a bit troubling. So that's where I'm at with the art. Overall, I don't really think it matched the context of the book. As for the story, that's a whole nother thing. Um, the first issue was really dry. Like, this is definitely a skip the first issue kind of book. I really, like, I was reading it and reading it and reading it, and it just felt like it went on forever. And I wasn't picking up on the characters, and I wasn't invested in anyone, and I didn't understand what was going on. Now, I haven't, like I said, I'm not a big Alien fan, so maybe that's on me. But the first issue dragged, and it dragged so much that I had to force myself to read issue two. I think I took a week off from reading it, and then I was like, no, you've got to go back and finish it. So, issue two, things really pick up. The story starts to line up better. You start to understand character motivations more. You get a little bit more action. Um, and that's where things start to get better. You've got this dynamic between Newt and Ridley obviously is on a revenge mission to take out the aliens. Her crew don't know what's going on, they don't trust her, Earth is being destroyed, and it's a really cool concept. The concept of like the aliens took over Earth while Ridley was on the spaceship back to Earth in cryostasis or however they did it in the alien world is really, really interesting. So she comes back to this destroyed world because it turns out the humans were greedy and took an alien back to Earth, and that, well, screwed everything up. So that's a really cool concept, and I really like that concept. And maybe it's just a 90s comic thing, but I don't really think, just like with the art, I don't really think they fleshed it out right. There's a lot of panels that are overly wordy, and they don't really tell you anything. And there's a lot of like really weird laid out panels where I'm trying to read it, but there's no like smooth like eye line to follow of text. So you're sort of jumping up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like trying to understand, am I meant to read it this order or that order? And unfortunately, that's not a good thing for a comic book. So I don't know if this was a quick tie it into the movies, make a buck sort of thing, or if this was actually like, considered a really good comic back in the day. It does seem to have a big following though. Like I said, I was just asked by someone on Minds to review it, so I gave it a read and I'm reviewing it. I didn't dislike the story, it just didn't pull me in like it should have. I think had the arts been a little bit better and a little bit more in line with what I expected, and had they played on the horror aspect a bit more, I think I would have been more sucked into this. But it just kind of read like a sort of weird what if side story to the second movie, and it is very much the same thing. Like the final showdown is Ripley, not Ridley, that's Metroid. Ripley and the Queen fighting once again. And I mean, I've seen that so many times in my life at this point. Maybe back in 1990, that would have excited me and I would be like, ooh. But right now, I'm tired of that because it's all I know of Alien. And Ridley is a great character. Ripley is a great character, and she, does she's got a lot of attitude in this, and she really pulls the story forward, and I really like that about the book. It's also great seeing Newt grown up and dealing with everything that happened, but it's never really fully fleshed out. Like her motivations and stuff aren't really fully fleshed out. They're just kind of tacked together towards the end, and I didn't like that. There's a family on Earth, but you don't really know why they're important up until like the fourth issue, and you still don't know why they're important. It's really weird. Like I said, I'm not sure if there was more to this story before and after that I'm supposed to have read, but this Earth War sort of section, it's really like, it's very shallow. And I feel like it needed maybe one extra issue or like another round of editing to really flesh out these characters better, because I just didn't feel emotionally attached to any of them. They're all very one-dimensional, and the only real character that had like any sort of screen presence was Ripley. And I guess that's kind of the intention, but there's, a cast of a good sort of 12 people in this, and I couldn't tell you the names of any of them other than Ripley and Newt, if that means anything. So that's the story. Overall, it's not bad, but it's not great. If you want to get into Alien comics, this is not where I would start you off, but I don't know where I would start you off because this is the first one I've read. However, yeah, it left a lot more to be desired, and I was expecting a heck of a lot more from an Alien comic. I don't really do numbers. Numbers are stupid, but I would say if you're a diehard Alien fan and you love the franchise, you probably already read this. But if not, maybe give it a go. You might really enjoy it. For everyone else, hold off, um, and I'll see if there's a better Alien story to start with. But that's my opinion, and yeah, you got it. As always, thanks for listening in. What do you think? Have you read this? Did you like it? Is there a better Alien story I should read? If so, let me know in the chat because I want to enjoy this. As always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, you know the drill. Subscribe. I just hit 70 subs today, which blows my mind. So thank you, everyone. Comment, do all the stuff, and I will see you in the next video.